Good morning, everybody. Betty here. Today I'm going to be teaching a little dance flow where we'll be combining Pilates, yoga, and some dance exercises that I really love to do for strength and conditioning. We're going to start with a big stretch and just to mobilize the body. So interlace the fingers above the head, stretch back as much as you can from the upper back, then flat back down and roll through the spine all the way up. You can go slower than I'm going, and you can do more if it feels good. Good, so we're inhaling back. Exhale to fold forward, bring the legs in closer toward the thigh. And when you're ready, widen the legs, parallel second position. And we want to keep the pelvis really stable here in order to free the upper body. So grab onto the wrists or interlace the fingers and just rock the torso side to side. Again, not moving in the hips, so you get the fullest range and the fullest stretch. After you've done about 4 on each side, take an inhale and then go flat back down and just hover above the floor, parallel to the floor. Interlace the fingers behind the back and then just let the torso fall forward. You want to be really heavy here, but strong in the legs. Take an inhale, reach over towards that right leg, keep the right leg straight, and then bend the left knee over those left toes. If you need more range of motion, you can open up the ankle or the feet a little bit wider to get a little deeper into those hips. And then repeat on the opposite side. Good. Take the hands to the floor and widen both legs, coming into a little turned out squat. And then just rock side to side. Here we're just mobilizing, so don't worry if you can't straighten the leg. You can always keep the knees bent here. But if it feels good, you can rock all the way over to one side, straighten the leg, and then keep the other leg bent. On your next exhale, flip your facing so that you're now in a lunge. You can be on the left or the right. Rocking side to side. Again, keep the movement in the body. We're still slowly opening up here. And when you're ready, take a flat back over 2 straight legs. So now straighten that front leg and bring that back leg in a little bit closer into like a little triangle shape. On your next exhale, shift your weight all the way towards the front of that leg and just hang over. This is quite a deep stretch, so if you need to bend the knees at all, go for it. And this part is optional. You can either stay here with the leg in the back dangling, or we're going to do a couple batmas, so kicking the leg up and slowly lowering the leg with control. Kicking up and lower with control. When you're ready, switch legs. Here I'm on the right side, and you can mirror me if you're on the left, or stay on the right. And once you've completed your lunge, go into a flat back with both legs long. Tailbone shooting straight up towards the ceiling, so you almost want to feel like you're arching the back. And then shift your weight forward. Back leg is heavy and front leg is strong. And when you're ready, start those batmas or kicks. And again, batma up, slowly lower. Good. Bend the knees and slowly roll all the way up. From here, we're going to take some stability exercises. Still warming up. We're going to take the right knee parallel to the hip and then bring the knee in towards the chest using the hands to bring it in closer towards the shoulder. And stretching the side of the hip, go ahead and loop your arm or your forearm underneath the back of your knee, and then continue to bring your knee closer to that shoulder. If it feels good, you could circle the ankles, or just keep it still and hold. And then stretching the outer hip, go ahead and take the outside of that knee into the left hand, and then twist to face the back wall. And on your next exhale, go ahead and just switch sides. So bringing that left knee into the chest, holding it for a moment without your hands, making sure that bottom leg is super strong and super straight, and then bringing it closer into the chest. A couple breaths here. And then taking it to the outside, looping your arm underneath the back of the knee. And when you're ready, find your deep twist to face the back wall. Good. And coming down. Go ahead and plant both feet into the floor and really root down here. We're going to come into a deep squat. Hips are slightly above the knees and our weight is mostly in the heels. Okay, take an inhale. You're going to rock back slightly into the heels, trying to lift the toes. And then you're going to shift forward onto the toes and lift the heels. So this is a balance exercise. You might feel shaky if you go forward, or you might feel more shaky if you go back, and that's okay. You're going to feel some heat in between the inner thighs and maybe in the quads and the ankles. And just breathe through it. Good. Keep going. Keep the chest high. Keep the gaze high. And keep the abdominals lifted. Good. When you're ready, we're going to do a little challenging exercise. We're going to hold that releve, so hold the heels up in that squat. And then slowly lower. We're going to come into a malasana. So come into a deep squat, opening out the knees. Good. And then use your elbows to press those knees wider if you can. Good. We don't stay here long. We're going to slowly transition one leg at a time into a side plank. Option, you can stay in the side plank as is. A modified version is you can bend the bottom knee. Or to advance it, you're going to follow me. You're going to come into a passe, which means you're just going to open out the knee, bring the toe to the side of the knee, and then you're going to développé, which just means to extend straight up towards the ceiling, and then you're going to slowly lower with the straight leg. Good. And then you're going to développé to the front parallel, so knee faces forward and extend right in front of you. Good. And last one. And then slowly transition into a lunge by swinging that front leg or that top leg forward. Good. And then we're going to do a couple knee mobility exercises. So strengthening the back of that leg. We're going to extend and slowly bend, keeping the back leg straight and long as best you can. Good. High chest and keep your breath. When you're ready, we're going to now bend that front knee and straighten and bend that back knee. Good. And a little lift of the hips is okay. Take an inhale, transition slowly into a plank, and just hold. Good. Switch your facing. And bring that left knee in front. And then transition slowly to the other side, switching. Your right knee in front. And then slowly transition onto the left. Good. Doing everything else on the opposite side. So stretching forward over a straight leg. And bending that front knee. Don't worry, we're going to come back to that plank series. But when you're ready, lift the chest off the thighs, and we're going to bend and straighten that front leg. Good. Pressing down into the heels in order to straighten that leg. Try not to just hinge from the knee. So we're thinking rooting down to grow taller. Good. And then repeat on that back leg. So bend the back knee and go straight and bend. Good. Slowly transition into a plank and then flip up so you're on your side plank on the opposite side. And you go passe and développé. Turned out and passe, développé, front. Repeat, or just hold this. If this is challenging enough just to hold, that's perfect. Just hold that there. Good. Top leg shoots forward to come into that lunge. And then transition into a plank and push back into your downward facing dog. Bend and straighten the knees. You want to keep the heels as grounded as possible and just shoot the tailbone straight up towards the ceiling. Good. Articulate through the spine to shift your weight forward, bringing the right knee in toward the chest. Good. Hold for an inhale. Stay for the exhale. And on your next inhale, shoot straight back, extending the back leg into a split or a single leg downward facing dog, however you know it as. And then shift back forward into that abdominal hold. Good. And extend. Good. And you're allowed to open up the hips here. Just try to keep the chest forward as the hips open up. And when you're ready, slowly lower and just walk out your dog. Relax the spine. And switch to the opposite side. Left knee in toward the chest and shoot straight up towards the ceiling. Building a little bit more heat in the body. And using those abdominals, don't let them go as you extend, but actually squeeze them in more so that you kind of separate the hips from the torso, really splitting the legs apart. Good. Almost there. And slowly bring it in. Good, you've got it. And extend. And slowly lower back to that downward facing dog. Rest. Good. On your exhale, we're going to take a deep twist if you like. Again, this is optional. So if you're pregnant or you can't participate in any spinal twists, please just stay in your downward facing dog. We're going to grab onto the outside of the left ankle with the right hand. We're going to take 3 deep breaths here. Good. You can bend the knees if you like. And when you're ready, switch to the opposite side. Good. And slowly bring the knees down to a hover off the floor. So now we're in our bear pose. So if this is too challenging to hold, you can either just hold the bear pose, or you can lower the knees and do all the mobility exercises with the knees on the floor. So we're going to do some glutes here. We're going to press that heel, and I'm doing the left side first. Press the heel up towards the ceiling, and then bring that knee into the chest. Similar to what we just did with the downward dog, but now our knee is bent at a 90-degree angle. Once you've done 5 of these, you're going to press the heel up towards the ceiling 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And come in. Good. Other side up for 1. And in. Good. Try to keep the hips as level as possible. Avoid arching. Good. And long back of the neck. Keep pressing into the floor. And keep engaging the abdominals, especially as you lift that hip. And I skipped the 8 pulses here. So once you finish your 5, don't forget your 8 pulses. Just keep going on without me. And then shift to your downward facing dog. Keep the knees bent here just to stretch the spine. Good. And then walk your legs out to a plank. We're going to do some challenging balancing exercises. You're going to see me wobble a whole lot in these, but it's so good for stability. So if this is not possible, you can do one leg or one arm at a time. Okay? But I'm doing opposite arm to opposite leg, lifting up. I'm trying to hold for 5 seconds. Trying is the key word. And then lowering. Good. Something I'm still working on. And then if you really want to do the opposition balance, you can just bend the knees. So come into a quadruped position, just hands under the shoulders and the knees under the hips, and do the same exact thing. Right arm reaches out and then left leg reaches out. Good. Slowly come back. And come into a forward fold. So walk the feet in towards the chest or in towards the hands. And we're going to do some wrist mobility here. Just wringing out the wrists a little bit, folding it over the palm, onto the top of the hand, and then bringing it back onto the inside of the palm. Good. Once you've done that a couple times, just hang over those legs. Let the head go. You can shake the head no. And then flap back all the way up and squeeze the abdominals. Good. From here, we're going to do some more balancing, so you can always grab onto a wall if you need it. We're going to open our passe on a single leg and close it. And we want to reach the arms up towards the ceiling so that we constantly reinforce the waist being very long. So we don't want to shorten in the waist or lift the hip here. So if you need to bring the toes closer to the floor, you can bring them on the ankle, which is called a coupe. But if you can keep the knee up in line with the hip without lifting the hip, that is ideal. Good, and we do 10 of these. So once you've done your 10, we're going to bring the knee forward, extend the knee, bring the knee open, and extend the leg back. So we're turned out as we go back. Bring the knee in, and we're turned in as we go forward. Good. And you can flex or point here. I find that I get more of a calf stretch, and it's a bit more challenging if I flex the foot. Good. And slowly come into a penché, which just means we're going to keep that leg back and then keep the leg lifting as you fold the torso over that single leg. Good. So it's like a forward fold, but one leg is straight up in the air. And then bring it down, and we'll do the opposite side. Good. And when you open the knee, try not to let the hips open as well. So we want to really keep both hip bones forward in order to stabilize both sides. Good. And here I start with the flexed foot forward as I extend, bringing it in with the flexed foot. And again, you can choose if you want the toes long or flexed. And then open the knee and extend back. Good. And keep pressing those hands up towards the ceiling so that you constantly remain long in the torso. This helps us use those abdominals that we just worked to stabilize, so that we don't just have to rely on the legs. Good. And penché it forward. Keep reaching up with that leg. Fold over and slowly roll up. Wipe the bugs off of you. And we're going to take just a couple more exercises here. So we're going to bend in our right leg and lift the left leg ideally up in line with the hip. If you need a bend in the right knee more, you can do so. We're going to flex at the ankle, and then we're going to try to keep that leg like it's on a table in line with the hip as we bring it back. Good. So we're working those outer rotator muscles quite a lot today, but it's so good for us. Good for simple things like walking, or if you're a runner, it's great for that as well. Good. Not too many of these, as they are quite challenging, and just switch to the opposite side, making sure that bent knee is right over those toes. And when I say toes, I mean big toe and second toe. So we don't want the knee over the pinky toe. That means it's too far in. Good. And try to gaze slightly out past your toes so that you're not looking straight down, but that your neck is nice and long. And you have a nice, beautiful flat back. Good. Bring that leg in. And we'll take a little piriformis stretch. So our piriformis is located on the outer side of the hip. Go ahead and take that right ankle and place it above the left knee. And then if it's possible, go ahead and fold forward, let the head go, let the spine go. You can bend in that knee if you need to as well. And when you're ready, stand up and switch sides. And then slowly come up. We're going to take the legs as wide as we can while remaining stable. We're going to turn out the legs. Keeping the legs straight and the arms wide, we're going to take the heels up and down. Straight legs up and down. Good. And then bend at the knees. And then little pulses down and up. And here I'm rotating the arms slightly to forget about my legs, but also to keep opening up the back as my legs are remaining rooted and stable. I want to remain free in the upper body. That is the secret to being a great ballet dancer, is you have strong, strong legs in one area, but you're so free, or at least you look so free in the upper body. Yes, so lots of opposition going on. And you can do a port de bras if you like. You don't have to. So it's just reaching the arms middle and up and open. Or you can just bring the arms to the side. Good. As you bring the arms middle and up, straighten those legs. Keep your turnout and fold forward. Heavy head. Completely rest and completely hang like a rag doll. And in this moment of stillness, just thank yourself for coming to class today and doing your best. We're going to finish off class just how we started, so legs squeezing in towards one another, arms reaching maybe a little bit farther up towards the ceiling and a little bit backwards, like a little back bend, and then all the way forward over those legs and rolling up. Again, you can repeat as many times as it feels good. We're just going to do a couple times to close the class. I love back bends. You'll always see me do a nice big back bend at the end. Anything with the heart opening makes me feel good. I just want to thank you guys so much for coming to class today and dancing with me. Namaste.